Hey everybody. It is Katrina, aka the book therapist, and it has been a while, but I was out of town. I was on a conference, all right? And so I ended up picking up two books from Barnes and Noble. So this wasn't even on my TBR. Okay. So this romance novel by Minerva Spencer, Infamous, and it's a series, Rebels of the Ton. It was buy one, get one 50% off. Did I say that already? Okay. But yeah, so it was that. I got this one and I got The Secret Life of Bees. Okay, can you see that? Secret Life of Bees. Now, this book has been around for a while. There was a film that was made in 2008, which honestly, I don't think I ever saw it. I really didn't watch much TV. I'm really behind when it comes to movies. I really am. And especially because I spent most of my 30s in school. So I really didn't watch TV. I had too many books to be academic books to be reading. Anyway, all right, so haven't read this, but I did end up reading this book. And this book was a really, really good. It reminded me of another romance book, that story similar to this, but it was basically like this girl. She was mean when she was younger. This is taken like during a Regency period, and she it was like one of the things where the tables turn on her. Whatever she had planned to do against someone, it backfired, and her story, she ends up becoming ruined during that time. You know, anytime that you're either caught with a man, you know, that's just improper alone, um, she ended up being the cause of somebody's ruin, and it just backfired on her, and then she just ends up having a whole bunch of negative experiences that led to her now getting ostracized from the ton, and becoming basically, I think, like a lady's maid to someone that's relatively wealthy. uh, she ends up connecting back with these people years later. She's dreading it, but she has no choice but to go, because the lady she works for, her employer, is going back to this house for this wedding that's about to occur, and it's the family members or everyone that was involved from the start. Matter of fact, the guy who was a part of the situation where the young lady was ruined, and they ended up having to marry each other, that was the guy that she wanted to marry. So it's like now she has to go and face these people. And she was really rude to his twin brother, who was sort of more on the nerdy side, where they were twins, but he wore glasses, so he was more on the nerdy side, and so she was very rude to him when he was younger. But she ends up being more attracted to him once, you know, they get to the house and all this and that. And then there was this guy. He was like a antagonist of everything. That he was the rumor starter. He was the troublemaker, even back when they were younger. That she was partnered with, and he was now marrying the sister of the twins. That one, she was going to marry the one who ended up having to marry the one girl that got ruined, if you understood all that. And then so anyways, he's scared to marry their sister, and so he is very angry once he realizes that she's present. And so he's back up to his old tricks of trying to manipulate things, and he doesn't want her around and all of this and that. So he really hasn't changed. He's really not, he hasn't become a upstanding citizen or upstanding guy. And it just takes a while before the story starts to unfold till you learn more about what he did to the main character, Celia, and how he ends up, like, this is like some major spoilers for anyone who would want to read this, but he ends up, they end up not getting married. Okay, they end up not getting married, and it's like I want to tell it, but I don't want to tell it. It's really, it's pretty an interesting story. It's an interesting story. But have I read stories similar to this? I have, but it still was a good read. I read it on the entire flight. I finished the book on the flight from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I flew back to Charlotte. And so this book is 376 pages. And so I finished that on the entire flight. I do believe the flight was like, I don't know if it was 2.5 hours. I don't know. But I know that the flight was a little bit longer because of the weather. And so they had to take an alternate route, or, a little detour for the weather to smooth out, for the flight to smooth out, put it that way, because there was some turbulence there. Like, my best friend, we went together, and she was struggling. She was a little scared on there and everything. I was praying, but I was calm. I was just focused on reading, so it kept my mind off of the turbulence that was happening. But like I said, I've read stories that are similar to this, but it still was a good read. Takeaway again, like, she was a mean girl due to her experiences, and her life was just rough as a child in her household with her family dynamics. And she was looking at this other girl, and she was thinking that this is the girl that she ruined and ended up marrying the guy she wanted to marry. She thought that she had a better life than her, like she had it made, she had all this. And she finds out later on that that young girl had it bad as well, and she was taking care of her mother. Her mother ended up dying. I don't know if it was cancer, but her mother had some type of illness, and she ends up dying at a young age. And she didn't have everything that that the girl, Celia, the main character, thought that this other girl had. And so it's kind of one of those things where, a lot of times we often look at other people and we only base it on what we see at the surface level, and we think that they have it made or they have it so much better. And that's just like social media. Sometimes people only show you what they want you to see, and so you can think that your life is so garbage, for lack of a better word, or that your life just doesn't measure up to the glitz and glamour that person may be showing, or that person just looks like they're always happy and they don't have any turmoil or anything going on in their life. But that's not the reality, because people only will show you, so much. So you don't get to see, or you don't know what the background is, which just is one of the reasons why we must sweep around our own front door. Stay in your lane, stay focused on what you have and your situation, not look at anybody else's situation, because sometimes that's when we really get messed up, when we start focusing on everything else, or when you start magnifying what you don't have and what you think others do. Yeah. Anyhow, I wasn't trying to get into a preaching mode or a counseling mode, but that's really kind of the gist of this story. Is that everybody has issues, because everybody had issues, some type of issue in this book. But specifically, those two girls, they had they had some trauma from their childhood experiences, and it just made one treat the other one really, really bad. But in the end, they come together, and it's a beautiful ending. So that was my trip to Minnesota, my trip to Barnes and Noble there, where I picked up these two books, and I read this, like I said, on the entire flight. And I will get to this, I don't know. And the month is about to be out, and I doubt that I'm going to finish all of the books that I had on my TBR. I really do. because I think there's like 3 left over here that I have not finished at all. And one of the books I cannot finish anyhow because it's a part of a book club that I'm in. The Miss Wiggins that I was talking about, it's part of a book club, and we could only read up to a certain page. And so, and it's hard for me because I'm like, once I'm in there, let me just keep going. But I said I would follow the rules this time and I would stop where they requested for us to stop. So I'm certain that that book will be finished for me next month. But that is kind of where I'm at. But I just wanted to hop on, say hello, and just tell you about my Barnes and Noble buys. And so until next time, keep on reading. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. But if you're not, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified every time that I upload a video. Ta-ta!